When crypto max pump, when Bitcoin altcoin breakout, when are we going to get the absolute moon in these prices that the fundamentals have been suggesting is going to happen any day now? But then it feels like everything's over. Max crash, dump on Bitcoin, dump on crypto, everything fully struggle mode. We got to talk about it, everybody. We are here. Breakout. We're about to dive into these charts. Let's get this retweeted out on your pages. Go over to at Kelly Kellam or at BitLab Academy. This is live right now on YouTube and X. We're going to be live on Rumble soon as well. But let's get this retweeted. Let me catch my breath. I just had to let the water guy in. Let's go. It's time right now to make sure that we are locked in because it feels like there's some bubbling under the surface for the Bitcoin, altcoin, crypto market. We're seeing some incredible reversals of sentiment, but is this just a trap before the market breaks down yet again? When we dive into the Bitcoin chart, what do we see? We see the price action on Bitcoin is sitting in this beautiful bull trend right here with a bit of a bullish divergence, as we can see on this chart right here, with the lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the RSI. We can also see that right here, same thing. But we also have these trend lines. This one all the way back to October 2023, support here, and we did break below that. So it's all over, right? Well, not quite entirely, because as we've pointed out, all we've seen this structure do is the price action coming back and retesting this previous range high. We're seeing incredible maybe bottom signals in some of these altcoins. Ethereum definitely is not yet signaling that yet. No bullish divergence, just breaking down from the zone, but we are seeing it on other things like Avalanche here with a nice bullish divergence, a slight lower low on the price action with the RSI pushing higher. We got some news on Avalanche today as well. XRP also lower lows here, basically flat. It's not a super strong bullish divergence, but we're not seeing a breakdown in the RSI, which is starting to give that a bit of confidence. But we do also see on the daily chart, XRP is finding support on the 200-day moving average. Is this that last little washout? We've got to make sure we're locked in because these markets are ripe to shake people out in both directions right now. Whether you're a bull or a bear, we need to let some of these things resolve. But I do think that this max pump, max gain, mega breakout in the crypto ecosystem is going to happen at some point this year. The question is, what is going on with all the tariffs between the US and China, the 90-day pause on all these other countries, while we're starting to see other countries and geo groups basically coming to the table and negotiating what is going on with this. I mean, it's trade war that is shaking up the market. So how's everybody doing today? It's good to see you all back here. Welcome to the show. My name is Kelly Kellam. Thank you also to our channel partners, L-Bank up here in the top, and of course, Arculus. If you have not gone over to getarculus.com, let me go ahead and pull that up. Arculus.com. Use code, oops, that's not how to spell it. Arculus.com. There we go. I can't type. Head over to getarculus.com. Best crypto cold storage solution out there. And you can use code BitLab, BITLAB 20, BitLab 20 for 20% off. Make sure you head over to getarculus.com and protect your crypto so you can protect your future. What's the point of doing all this with numbers on the screen only to get yourself hacked? Especially with all of the nefarious things happening in this day and age. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Now, in addition to that, what are we seeing in the market? How's everybody doing, by the way? Drop a comment in the live chat right now if you're feeling bullish, if you're feeling bearish. If you don't know what the hell is going on, let me know in the chat, baby. I see you, Chris Pfaff. I see Granny's Garden, Alexander G, Andy D, Phil Nye, the crypto guy. What a great name. Chipper, Texas GM, how you doing? Or is that thanks? One House Productions, we got the crew in the house. But jumping into the data, earlier it was all green. Now it's all red except for XCN. On the day, that's on the daily, almost all green with a little bit of pullbacks kind of sprinkled in here. But the mixed bag feeling in the markets with that huge resurgence yesterday. If we come over here to the 24-hour charts, We can see, look at that, Onyx coin up 90%. Holy malarkey. We got Flare up 23%. Fart coin, the most important crypto coin. I'm just joking, but Fart coin's always, I mean, massive swings, up 83% on the week. Sonic doing some big things there. Actually, I have to verify some news, but I heard some very big news that may be rolling out on Sonic in the very near future. Up 15%. Tau, Tensor, up 13%. I may be moving back into this in the very near future, meaning in the next 24 to 72 hours. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'll keep you guys in the know, especially those of you that are BitLab Academy members in BitLab in the Discord, which we almost have everything set to merge everything with Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement, BitLab Academy. It's going to be something special. So make sure you're paying attention there. And if you're a member here on the BitLab YouTube, you'll get this information too on my portfolio update, but I'm about ready to get back into BitTensor. Now, why is that? Let's go ahead and scroll over here really quick. Where is Tau? Look at how far this has fallen. Oh, how mighty. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, this is just a massive price structure, just swings. Holy moly. Came right down into the zone, actually lost it. Bit of a sort of final washout potentially setting up here. We have a bit of a divergence here. It's not full on because we are getting still slightly lower lows on the RSI, but look at this. I mean, this is just, a swift, sharp angle to the downside here. Starting to set up beyond that on the RSI. What do we see? We see this trend line of resistance, resistance, resistance. And now it's also above this moving average on the RSI down here on the bottom. But what we want to see is a breakout of the RSI, retest and continuation, which would also give us more confidence that we're going to see price action move to the upside. Now, of course, this is the 3-day chart. Now, oh my God, we missed this. We didn't get the exact bottom. We should give up. We should never buy the coin because we didn't get the exact bottom. That is absolutely wrong way to look at these markets. Sometimes it is better. I mean, look at that from the low, 45% pump. Sometimes it is better to let this play out. Want for a little bit of a retrace for this to come down. See where the bulls basically defend an area, form a bit of a higher low, provide opportunities with the data starting to show up on the chart that's giving you confidence in what is going on in the chart. Now, BitTensor, I think, is getting there. Near Protocol also doing some pretty swift moves to the downside. Still looking a bit more bearish than BitTensor Tau, but that's okay. If we're starting to see the swings in the market, if this does come up, we want to wait for that confirmation. But we're going to get into this. We're going to look at some TA across a bunch of different altcoins. I'm going to give you some updates on some headlines and how that's impacting the sentiment in the market, what's going on. And also, we got to look at some of these coins that I have listed right here. Look at this. Avalanche, XRP, Solana, Litecoin, Cardano, Link, Doge, DOT, HBAR. Now, why would we be looking at those coins? Well, I'm going to tell you that in a little bit. There's some potential amazingness going on with this, with the crypto ecosystem right now, with the max shakeout in markets, because it's not just Bitcoin and crypto and altcoins having the pullback. We have seen a dramatic pullback on the S&P 500, as you can see on this chart. And look at this swing. This is massive. Look at that, almost a over 13% move on the SPX, S&P 500, of a bounce here. The other day, there was a $7 trillion swing in the matter of 30 minutes. There is appetite for risk. My biggest fear with this appetite for risk, my biggest fear of people trying to jump in so quickly and then jumping back out on every swing of the news, is the fact that, does that mean that we haven't broken the spirit of the bulls yet? Now, why would we want to do that? Because typically, when you see a market, a very broad market reversal, whether it's in Bitcoin in the crypto ecosystem, or in this case, world markets, because of all these tariff wars and the trade wars going on, if everybody's not had their spirit broken, you haven't really met max pain. Now, is that going to absolutely happen this time? I don't know. But we have to just be aware of it. Now, I want to see every single one of you get active in this live chat right now. We see Alexandra G. BitLab fam, what is up? We got Phil and I, the crypto guys, we are hanging tough right now, everybody. Max pump loading, yes, please. Good morning, BitLab crew. Let's see everybody get some, drop something in the live chat. Let me know you're live. We got about 500 people tuned in between YouTube and X right now. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more here in the matter of a few minutes. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate all of you. I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for my legs. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that we're in this market. I'm grateful for the fact that I can have my feelings hurt sometimes and I can let it go and I can forgive people. I can forgive myself and I can forgive myself for making stupid moves in this market at different points in different cycles, but learning from those things and taking those errors as lessons and not making those same mistakes again as much as possible, right? So Matthew Brady, how you doing? Hey, my man. Hey, what's up? Now let's get into it. We got some things to look at. Shout out to every single one of you that is here. I appreciate you. Giga Longbottom, great name. Giga Longbottom says, I'm a newbie, but claim to be an extreme empath. Sentiment was so bad last week. It was melted. On the traditional stock markets, it was about a extreme fear of 4, which is pretty damn low. And the crypto ecosystem was, I think, around 14 or 18 or something like that. But but we're born in the fire. Crypto, we are here for the volatility. Chris Pfaff says, sending gratitude your way for sharing info our way daily. Well, let's get into it, everybody. We got some things to cover. Now, diving in, what do we got? Well, first off, I'm not going to cover that. First off, we got more than just the China tariffs. We got European Union, European Union pauses tariffs on U.S. goods for 90 days, agrees to negotiate the new trade deal. Again, whether you like Trump or not, we don't still yet know what the full intention of what his negotiating tactic was. Did he really just bend the knee to Xi Jinping in China? Or was this all a pressure point to get the world countries aligned and pick a side between the US and China? We're also seeing right now that China was essentially trying to curry favor with Australia to get them to basically join on their side, and they're like, nah, we're going with the US. So we're seeing a lot of shifting winds right now, and it's still unclear footing on the markets, and that's okay because we can take advantage of that when we understand that there's been a major sell-off on the S&P 500, as you can see right here, massive sell-off to the downside, while Bitcoin is holding up beautifully. When we come back over to Bitcoin, what do we see? Again, price action just testing the previous range high, whereas when you come to S&P 500, it is testing a previous range high, but a previous range high all the way back here in December 2021. So maybe because Bitcoin and the crypto market tends to act in a more accelerated fashion, maybe this is the same thing. Maybe the S&P 500 was a little bit overheated, especially with the advent of the massive growth that we've seen in tech stocks. Now, when you look at all these tariffs and how much stuff that was going to be coming in, especially from the Asian markets, the tech sector is almost entirely contingent on those chipsets and those products and goods that were needing to be imported from those Asian markets. So maybe this is the same thing as this, even though this doesn't look like as dramatic of a pullback. We're seeing this test a previous range high, but this is also testing a previous range high from all the way almost back here. And it's pretty wild to think that, but we are seeing the directionality correlation, but Bitcoin is holding up better. Here for some Kelly TA and maybe some dog. We will, I don't know why these change every single time, but we're going to mess with it every time. That's okay. We'll do some dog there at the end, and we'll make sure to cover as many, if we get a lot, as many TA for super chats, or when you have member messages you can post to if you've been a member for a while. That's all of you with the beaker next to your name. We'll get some, we're going to do a bunch of TA today, but coming back over, what else we got? We got, okay, European Union tariffs. We got US tariffs on China now 145%, 145%. But man, did you guys see those pumps on the altcoins yesterday? It was pretty incredible. And then we got some better news today about inflation. Promises made, promises kept, says Bill Mitchell, and this is also coming out of the White House. But we are seeing the U.S. CPI, consumer prices, dropped 0.1% in March 2025, the first decline in nearly 3 years, driven by a 2.4% fall in energy prices. We saw a swift fall off of crude oil and oil prices. So that's pretty cool. But what does this mean? We're starting to see the shifting winds in the Fed Watch tool here, looking at whether or not we're going to get a rate cut or a continued pause. The other day, this was at 46%. That same day, it dropped to 20%. This is looking at May, this next FOMC meeting. And look at this. Now it's back up a little bit. It was down to 15%. Now it's up to 27.6%. We're seeing just the swings and the expectation, because there's so many changes to what's happening on the global stage of trade, which really drives the bulk of the world economy. So we're just seeing not a cogent, not a cohesive viewpoint as to whether we're going to most likely get rate cuts in June, which that would be this right here, 64%. There's also a 22%. This is, so if you can add this up gets up into that, near 90% range. It's like 80. It's actually, yeah, it's 87% roughly, 87.1%, between, 25 basis point cut all the way to, potentially all the way up to 50 basis point cut, maybe even 75 basis point. But the markets tried to front run these changes in monetary policy. So we have to be a little bit cautious. Had to mute myself there for a moment, but things are looking up. I'm tired of talking all this economic stuff because we got to dive into other things. We got more bullishness on Bitcoin. Today, 5 of Korea's largest banks met to demand changes in the national Bitcoin and crypto laws. It's not just Korea. It's not just Bhutan. It's not just El Salvador. It's not the U.S. And I think it's like 38 or 40 states in the U.S. We actually had our own guy today. It's Joshua Jake, from our Discover Crypto channel, was actually giving testimony today in Florida, in Tallahassee, for the Florida Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill. And it was the hearing that they were in, because there's several steps. They had 100% voted yes, no dissenting votes on either side. It was fully bipartisan. So we're starting to see some great bullishness, despite, oh my God, the Bitcoin price has fallen from the all-time high, which is what it does in every bullish move. You have a move up, you have a retrace down for the bulls to defend a new low, hopefully a higher low. Then you have a move up, which you're looking for a next move up, a new higher high, followed by a new higher low. When those dynamics change is when the bullish trend changes. King Peasant, how you doing? Global M2 still been cooking for weeks. The Global M2, we are setting up for something beautiful. Good morning. I'm on the same page, bud. LFG. I'm right there, LFG, and with you. LFF and G. Let's get it. Let's go. Now, continuing on, yes, Korea, we got the states, we got all the bullishness, but then what do we see? The world's largest credit rating agency, S&P Global, says Bitcoin is becoming an uncorrelated asset. Now, this is a little bit of a stretch because we're having moments of correlation and moments of not talking about what's going on with the stock market. Is this trading like tech stocks? But we're going to see this flip back and forth. But we're seeing, these things all build a bullish path forward for boomers, for, the mom and pops, for people that are only following mainstream news media like Jim Cramer and Dave Ramsey. And if Goldman Sachs and BlackRock's talking about it, they're not out here looking at the on-chain data and what's going on with how strong that we're at an all-time high for hash rate, meaning it's the most secure and strongest network we've ever had for Bitcoin. Meanwhile, price is falling. That is a bullish divergence of fundamental data that you can't even fully encapsulate in words. We are setting up for an absolutely monumental decade in Bitcoin. So who gives a shit about a 30% pullback? Because we see it regular, rinse and repeat in every bull market cycle we've ever had. We talked about it back in 2017. There was 11 moves of 15% or more. 8 of those were 25 to 40% moves to the downside, all on the way from an absolute, the market is dead, it's over, all the way up to Valhalla, up here from $200 up to $20,000. Let alone this move here that we saw. What was that? That is a 350% move to the upside. But that's all we're getting in this bull cycle because it crashed and it's dead. Let's not fall victim to the nonsense when this is setting up to be the most bullish run in history. And there's going to be some bumps along the way. So coming back over, what do we see? Yes, S&P Global says Bitcoin is becoming an uncorrelated asset. And so while everybody was running for the hills, not everybody, we're starting to see with on-chain data. This is actually the shakeout of the weak hands, retail, while smarter traders with a little bit longer window that they're looking at and understanding where this market is going. Large investors' demand for Bitcoin is accelerating. Balances of wallets holding 1,000 Bitcoin to 10,000 Bitcoin rising faster than their 30-day average, aka they're more aggressively buying, especially on this dip. And beyond that, what do we see? We also see an increase, not just large wallets and big money, smart money, whatever we want to say. And remember, you can be smart money too. It's just about how you're choosing when to buy, where to buy, when to sell, when to capitulate. The whole point is to buy low, hold for some determined amount of time, and sell high. That's the whole point. Whether you're buying now and selling in 10 years or at the market cycle top, that'll be either much later this year, potentially, and I'm starting to feel this way, into 2026 at some time, because we're seeing an increase in institutional purchases as well. 1.1 billion of Avada Capital increases Bitcoin exposure 30% to the 4th largest position. Institutions are buying the dip, but it's not just, oh my God, MicroStrategy and Metaplanet and Avada Capital. We're seeing a massive increase. Nearly 100 public companies are now buying Bitcoin for their balance sheet. Corporations are buying the dip. And look at all these companies. We got Marathon, Riot, Hut. So of course, these are Bitcoin miners, but let's get out of that. Technology, we got Moga, Reddit, Nexon, Nano, NameSilo, Meitu, Globit, Altvest, Booyah. I don't know some of these, Block, but it's okay. We also have autos like Tesla. Remember, they're still holding their Bitcoin. Finance, BlackRock, Broker Group. I mean, the list is just incredible here. And this is cryptocurrency firms as well, of course. Coinbase, Galaxy, Bitcoin, Exodus. I mean, the list is DMG, Energy. And the fact that, do you realize that the fact that with Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin is not just, hey, let's go trade a crypto and make some money. That's not what Bitcoin is. Now, there are some cryptos out there, meme coins and whatnot, that you might be getting in just to catch a quick pump, rip out, take some profit, get out. Most people lose money like that. But when you look at the impact of Bitcoin on the global stage and what it means for the energy sector alone, just strengthening power grids, being able to use wasted gas, you realize over 30% of energy that is produced globally every year, over 30% is wasted, it's gone. Now you're able to actually integrate Bitcoin miners into these, whether it's a power grid, whether it's a oil and gas producers that are creating energy. There's a lot of burn off energy. There's a lot of energy that's untapped that just gets dissipated and wasted. You can actually strengthen power grids with Bitcoin mining. And if you have a big energy event, like for instance, a very hot summer, a heat wave, or a very cold blizzard, that you're just shocking the energy grid with more, air conditioning units on and all these different things that affect power grids. You can increase the capacity of a power grid by integrating a Bitcoin miner. And then if there is a massive energy surge that they need more energy, they shut off the miners, but they've strengthened the energy grid already, and thus also lowering the cost of energy of the people in that region. When people start realizing this outside of crypto's stupid because Bitcoin is just internet magic money, the dollar is magic money. The Turkish lira is magic money. The euro, that's all because they print it. It's not backed by a goddamn thing. But Bitcoin can back everything. That is the difference. It can strengthen everything. It can capture energy. It can transmute energy. Monetary systems are a storage of energy spent in this thing that we all agree on that we can trade. So I spent this energy shoveling a ditch. Okay, you're going to pay me for that. Now I can give you money. And so I was able to convert my physical energy into a monetary transactionable store that we all agree on and send it to you. The problem with fiat systems is they've completely destroyed the trust in it because they print it to infinity. That's why we have $37 trillion in debt here in the US, not just because the budget's out of balance. No, because the fiat system is a scam. Whereas Bitcoin has utility beyond just, hey, I can buy stuff with this, or I can have a savings account with this. No, it does all this and more. And people are starting to wake up to this, especially politicians. And that's why when you look at this and how many different public companies are, holding Bitcoin, and we're seeing MicroStrategy over 500,000 Bitcoin now. We're seeing energy giants like Exxon and others that are looking very strongly at how they can use the burn off energy that is literally wasted energy. Why not, instead of wasting that energy, just attach a Bitcoin miner to it and also convert that to money? Come on, guys. We are in it. We are here. The world is waking up. And hit the like button right now, because you are here before the world. Now, what else we got in this? Just a reminder of what's going on with Bitcoin. What is going on with Bitcoin? This is when everybody thought it was over. This is also when everybody thought it was over. Everybody thought it was over here on the Asia crash. Everybody also thought it was over here on the tariffs. Now, this is Bitcoin divided by the VIX, aka the pairing of the volatility in this time. But look at this. Marked perfect zones of when the bottom was in for a massive reversal. Did we just hit that? I think it's more likely than not that we did, unless we get a massive shakeup from the trade war, which could happen. Things could escalate in different ways. But as it stands right now, just looking at some of the data, I do think more likely than not that we have bottomed. And we're seeing great, it's just nonstop bullish news after nonstop bullish news. And then we see this is who's buying. Well, long-term holders are aggressively buying Bitcoin, while short-term holders are bitching out, going, I knew it was a scam, I'm just tired, or making stupid decisions. Smart money is looking for the sell-off of weak hands, selling the fear, and they go, okay, you can sell that? Okay, let me stack up and make myself richer in the future. People repeat things that they've always done. That's why if we resettled right now an equal playing field for everybody around the world with the same $10,000, the same people that are rich now are going to end up being rich again, starting from the same point, because it's about practice. It's about discipline. It's about the mindset. It's about acknowledging opportunities versus knowing when to de-risk. That's also an opportunity. You don't de-risk because you're scared. You de-risk because you're looking at the shifting winds and how your strategy is able to capitalize on the shifting winds of bullishness and bearishness in the market. Do you want to shift your future? You have to also shift your actions and reactions now. That's the only way to do it. Not handing money out. So what we got to do is hand money to ourselves by making some smart decisions. Ethereum's not dead. Discover Crypto posted this earlier. And what do we see? 44, it doesn't even matter. Ethereum's not dead. I want to get into some TA. You guys want to get into some TA? VanEck submits applications on an AVAX ETF. Well, let's get into it, because we're seeing all the stuff. We're seeing all the numbers, but we want to see some damn TA. Let's get into it, everybody, because Bitcoin is still looking primed and beautiful. Beautiful chart here. Here's a previous all-time high here. We have a pretty range high here. We have the low here. And so we're kind of marking out some zones of interest on the charts. Now, beyond these horizontal lines of support and resistance, previous resistance, right in here, resistance where this rejected. Now it turns to support. Okay, this is where we reversed. Okay, now support. Nothing's changed on the bullish narrative on a chart basis looking at Bitcoin. In addition to that, posted this the other day. We have a beautiful bullish divergence right here on the RSI, higher lows. Here's a low. See how this doesn't go as low? Well, how does this relate to the price action? We have the lower low. We can see this. Let's draw a little trend line. Boom, lower low on the strength, higher low. So AKA there's some bubbling up of strength underneath, ready to pull this damn slingshot back and make the move. Now, is the move going to happen now or later? That is the question. That is a question. Now, what do we got? Price action is holding on. It's trying to hold this zone right here. You see it lost it, came right back inside it, now lost it again. But we're in a pretty tight zone on Bitcoin to kind of determine, in a lot of ways, what's going to happen with the rest of the crypto, altcoin, DeFi, all that market. AI, DePIN, there's so much going on in crypto. So when we're looking at this, I'm starting to get more confident that we're, as we pointed out with Matthew Hyland and Kevin Svensson, that I don't think we're just going to get that boom like that. As we mentioned, as we talked about, we're on the daily chart. I do think it's more likely that we're going to have the chop in here, get rejected, come up here into the end of May, and then start to work our way and break our way to the upside. It's all going to be somewhat contingent on what the shape of what happens with the Fed, the FOMC, if there's an emergency cut, which I don't think we're going to get, but are we going to have any Fed rate cut on May 7th, FOMC, or potentially even the tonal quality of the press conference right after they give the decision, we're staying paused. Great. Now, what's that press conference going to be like right after with Jerome Powell? Yeah, we're looking at things more seriously. It's looking like we're going to take more aggressive action on, but we have to pay attention to that on May 7th. Now, all of this, we are starting to look like we could be forming that bottom. So what does it look like for the altcoin market? Because when we get over to ETH, it's still just, golly, it's just it came down to prices 1,300, mid 1,300s, same price back here in January 2023. If we look at it on Bitcoin, look at how low this is. This goes all the way back to January 2020, meaning the value of ETH held in Bitcoin has dropped to the same point as if you had just ignored all of this and just bought this now, you circumvented 5 years. Now, some people were smart and they've traded the low and they traded the high, but a lot of people have round tripped a bit of this, and that's okay. I still think ETH has a bright future. But when we look at other coins like Avalanche has got a bit of that bullish divergence forming here on the daily. We just got the news about a potential ETF with Van Eck and listed on NASDAQ and so on and so forth. But what do we see on the 4-hour chart? Price action did what? Price action, look at this. Are you kidding me, guys? Look at that measured move that we broke down on this chart with the head and shoulders. We target it down from the breakdown point. Where's the neckline? The neckline's right here, this line right here. And look at this, made the move, almost fully fulfilling that target. And where'd the price now come? The price came right back into the previous range low, that neckline. Doesn't mean it's over yet, but this can be expected. The question is, do we get a breakdown or does this finally knock its way through and make the move? Because what we're seeing here on the 4-hour chart is we have these moving averages. Let me see. Let me do V. There we go. Looking here on Avalanche, came up right in the neckline. We're between these two moving averages. We've got a little bit of a headache between this zone because of the moving averages, because it's descending trend line. It is starting to shape up, which is looking good. And if we start getting ETFs, it's going to be a double-edged sword, because if they perform with almost no relative interest, because we all think all this stuff's the coolest shit ever. Well, remember, Bitcoin ETF came out, performed remarkably well. Ethereum ETF came out and kind of underperformed. It might have been where we were in the market cycle and everything as well, but might have been waiting on some of the clarity with the new administration, with the new SEC direction, with the empowered crypto. Who knows? But it did not perform well, and it kind of detracted a little bit from the positive sentiment around ETH, among other things. Avalanche could have a similar thing if that were to happen, but it is bullish in the mid to into the long term as these different capital avenues and sort of substantiation of crypto on Wall Street. As much as I think that's stupid as hell, there's a huge amount of people out there that still look at this as this sort of wild, wild west. So getting included in financial products on the NASDAQ is not a bad thing when you consider the impact of the sentiment between the old blue hairs and traditional finance people as well. So this is starting to shape up, but I would be still a little bit cautious here as the RSI has pushed up, is trying to bounce right on the 50 zone, as you can see right here where my mouse is. But we want to really pay attention to this zone, the potential breakout, watching the $22 region. And it's really the breakout of that would get me more excited. XRP still within the downward trend. Still within the downward trend. We're on the 4-hour charts now, but look at where this bounced and went up into previous range that we've had outlined here for quite some time. So the moves are setting up, but a lot of them are at the likely potential rejection zone that we need to be careful that we don't just. Now, for me, I'm a net buyer because I'm waiting for this market as a whole to swing. So I don't care if I buy here. I don't care if I buy here. I don't care if it drops more. I'm adding to positions because it's pretty amazing on a lot of these coins that guys, look at Ondo, man. I'm so bullish on Ondo. But look, this has dropped from this top up here, over $2 down here to the mid 60 cents. That's a full bear market sort of drop. So I don't mind if I buy here and it drops more, I get to buy more. I'm thankful that I have opportunities, but my strategy right now with the majority of the altcoins that I'm holding is to hold them into the full sentiment shift and that excitement, that exuberance of capital flowing into the markets, which may not even be till later at the near end of this year, because there's so much shaking of confidence and the winds of now if we get, this massive, liquidity injection in the market and quantitative easing, and China's, they're at the table now talking about stimulus, and there's a lot that can shift this sooner. But my point is, I am not beholden to, if I buy here and it drops, I'm going to sell, because I'm waiting for that bigger swing in these markets. If you do buy here and you're going to capitulate if it sells, then you need to wait for a little bit more confirmations. Now, if you're trading here, then of course, what do? You make your entry and look at where this pushed up into, right into this chop zone, same area. Now, you can set your stop losses so you can exit. That's not a capitulation, but you just want to be smart with what your strategy is, why you're buying, when and where. But let's get back over these. I got XRP, I got AVAX, Solana, Litecoin, Cardano, Link, Doge, DOT, HBAR. I think all of these, all of these are US based, 1, and 2, all of them, what do you know? Also made in America coins, having ETFs, filings in. Some of them might get denied. Some of them might just get delayed, much later in the year. But the point is, there's corporate and Wall Street interest in products that are being developed, while we've also talked about this whole made in America narrative. And it doesn't matter if you're American or not. You can understand that you go where you know the liquidity is going to go. And so if there's this massive move right now to bring people back into the US, developers, projects, companies, build onshore, all this sort of narrative. And there's also the blockchain and crypto task force in the White House, and they're having digital asset summits and blockchain summits, and the SEC's talking to, this is an area I would be focused on. It doesn't mean all liquidity, but if you're trying to figure out, how do I pick coins? Well, figure out where you think liquidity is going to go, and then you look through them and figure out which ones are most interesting to you, or whether it's interesting to make money or interesting, I like that project for what they're doing. Because everybody has a different moral backdrop as to why they're picking assets or what the reason is that they're investing. But let's get over to it. We don't ever look at Litecoin. I don't know why. It's just not really in my radar. But what do we see on Litecoin? It's been dropping. Great. Reject. Now support. And look at this. That's where it found support as well. Now let's zoom out on this a little bit. And look at this. It's actually just a sideways range. Sideways range of, all the way back here, June of 2022. And this is kind of holding on. There is corporate and sort of, I don't want to call it legacy money in crypto, but older money in crypto, meaning because Litecoin has been around for a minute. And it's still one of those coins on the major talk show, the major finance talk shows. It's like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Solana, or Bitcoin, Litecoin, Doge, Ethereum is one of the other ones. It kind of has that legacy footprint. And this is in a pretty big drop here. And there are ETFs out, filings for this 55% drop. This is on the 3-day. Let's get down to the 4-hour chart. So where did it come? Look at this. Bounced off the trend line that we had projected. Came up and tested, kind of tried to test the low of the range, but look where it got rejected, right at the 50-day moving average. That's the orange. This is not day. It's the 50 moving average because we're on the 4-hour. But now it's trying to just be a little bit of a retrace because it's holding on the 21-day moving average. Boom. The RSI is trying to break out. Not a clear signal here. It's trying to make the move. The Bears tried, but it's not a very strong try for the Bears. But the Bulls are defending. Everybody's kind of waiting to see where the shakeout happens, where all the tariff war, trade wars shake out over the next few days. But Litecoin is one of those ones I'd be looking at, and that's a pretty big pullback here. I'd be wanting for this to get back up in here or reject it. I want to test this zone, this $80 to $100 zone before we're really seeing that the momentum. Now, if you're looking at something like Litecoin for beyond midterm into long term, meaning beyond 7 months into so on and so forth, then I think anywhere in here is a decent opportunity. But that's the decision you make. This is not financial advice. Just talking about strategy. Cardano still holding up in that range. Looks kind of like Litecoin. Tried to make the move, but it's everything is in a little bit of a sentiment pinch right now. Same thing, sentiment pinch. Dogecoin, probably going to be a great signal for other coins, other meme coins in the market for those of you that meme. But I don't even think of Doge as a meme coin anymore because it's I don't want to call it a blue chip either, because it's so substantiated within the crypto ecosystem and it has such legacy. And Elon Musk talks about it, and I mean just the signal that is there because of that. But you do have lower lows on Dogecoin. You have higher lows here on the 4-hour, on the daily, higher lows, bullish divergence here on Dogecoin. What do we got on DOT? DOT's looking a little weak here. This is on the daily. What does it look like on the 4-hour? Let's see. Okay. Potential bottoming, but no clear signal on DOT at all. Maybe, I wouldn't call this a head and shoulders because this head's a little bit shallower than the shoulder, but it looks a little messy, but coming into maybe slowly starting to form a little bit of a bottoming structure, but I think a little bit more time is needed there. H-bar, what do we got? We got price action trying to break through this trend line here, which it has. It's trying to hold on that trend line. This is not, it's testing it, it's done, because this also, look at this, also is a double top. I wouldn't be surprised if this came back down here into the 7 cents range, right in this zone. If this is able to hold, then I'd be watching for a retest of 18 cents, reject and launch out of there. But then let's look at our favorite pet over here. Where is it at? I got it somewhere. I just moved all these so I could line things up for you. But we got to look at dog. Is dog dead? All dogs go to heaven, baby. All dogs go to heaven. And I think dog being on Bitcoin and the community behind how strong this community, this is such a strong community. Let's zoom out and have our hearts broken, but also realize the opportunity that's there. For those that like dogs, for those in the dog community, shout out, bark, retweet this out, let people know. I'll clip this out and put it later, but we can see the price action on dog. Oh my God, also see the S&P 500. So why is dog dropping? It's not dog. We're seeing the broader crypto ecosystem and riskier assets, when you consider them by market cap, are having a bit of a sell-off. So coming back over to dog, what do we see? Falling channel. Okay, coming down into a zone. It fell through that zone, but it's still minding this channel. In fact, we're sitting here right on the edge of some interesting things happening, because Coinbase also talked about integrating some of the things in the Taproot and the Runes protocol and what's going on there, which what would that mean for those assets like Dog? With or without that, the community around Dog is so incredibly strong. I'm very excited about this, watching for when this does make its move up here to the 2 cent zone, back up here to the, not 2 cents, the 0.002, up here to the 0.003, up here well and beyond, because even getting to the previous all-time high, which remember, there's no inflation, all tokens, all Dog were deployed on the airdrop for those that were holding runes back in April of last year. All Dog are out. All dogs are freed. It's up to you if you want to have a dog in your stable, in your portfolio. But the point is, there's no KOLs, there's no paid promotion. This is just a community token, almost basically on that Satoshi Nakamoto, that Bitcoin principle where it's free and fair. And the way they're distributed, the way it's organized, it's community driven. In fact, OG General also gave out, I think it was about $17,000 or $20,000 worth of Dog on one of the community events that they did. That's him. That's not the Dog company, because there is no company. It's a community token. And the fact that this is giving us more, I'm going to be adding more to this here in the matter of the next 72 hours when I get some more fiat mined that I can deploy in. But I'm going to be adding to my Dog because I love Dog. And yes, this is down bad, but it also does present an opportunity for those of you that like to take a little bit of risk out there and something that is not just a pump and dump nonsense like all these other coins that Binance and Coinbase, they're listing trash bullshit. And you got Dog that's free and fair, no pay promotions, every token's out. And you got a community around it that's just phenomenal. And I'm telling you right now, you go out there, you start posting Dog content, Dog memes. That's one of the things that got me excited, was that it's like, this is a very fervent community of supportive, happy, just active people. Like, they support each other in the Dog community. So shout out to all my dogs. I'll clip this and post it live also later, just the Dog portion. But we're looking for this. We're looking for this move, up here into even to this 0.002, 50% move up here to this, all of this price action where this previous range bottoms and tops were chop zone. That's 159%, all the way up to this zone here, also a range high and a range low. That is about a 300% move, over 300%. All-time high up here at 633%. And that's when we're getting back into that $1 billion market cap range. And remember, this did this without any paid promotion, without any centralized exchange listings. This is just the Dog community being ferociously cute and ferociously awesome. So shout out to the Dog community. My question for you right now is, do you hold Dog? Comment down below. If so, are you sharing this out to let people know what's going on with the Dog community? Because I know I'm going to be, all dogs go to heaven. So we're looking for that move when we see this, make the move to the upside, up in a way. If we come over here and put this on a dual screen, we can come here and go to Pepe and just look at what is going on with Pepe on this price action. Let's go to the 3-day chart. There we go. Double click and realize that this is similar in terms of this price action. This move to the downside, this just went a bit lower. There's different setups in the context of the ecosystem with the tariff war going on that dropped all markets. So it stands to reason that this did drop a bit lower than this analogy here between Dog and Pepe. But once everybody thought it was dead, well, we get 1,000% move and then another 600% move. But this ultimately was a move of about, look at that. It's a little over, I think, 30x move. Golly. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to Dog. Who knows? But I know, I watched the video when I was younger. All dogs go to heaven. I'm so bullish on Bitcoin. I'm so bullish on when altcoins start to catch that big, when sentiment and the landscape and corporations and ETFs and just the world stops worrying about all this global reordering and we get back to a normal. Certainty is going to come back to market. Money printing, global M2 is going up. So your medium and low risk assets within the crypto ecosystem, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche, HBAR, BitTensor, Tau, Filecoin. There's so many different coins out here. Ondo, Chainlink, Near Protocol, Constellation DAG. We're going to see some monster growth. Some coins that you hold are going to fail, but I think Dog's going to do well as well when the markets start turning around. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. With that being said, let me shoot you over to the blockchain basement now. But I appreciate you sharing these streams out, having you all engage, hitting the like button, sharing. Really means a great deal of difference, and it does. It does have a great benefit to the algorithms here as well, letting them know that you appreciate this content. But that's all I got today, everybody. I love you. I appreciate you. Adios, muchachos.